Hey guys, 14.17 is here. That's only the first day of the patch basically. I've already heard so many opinions that the patch is fairly tiny, but also many major settings were changed or adjusted. So let's check what exactly this patch brings to us. Matchmaking improvements. Recently we've seen a lot of players feedback around issues surrounding the balance of blue side, red side and overall balance. That's true. In this patch we are making changes to better match off rolls, including matching secondaries as if they were off rolls. We have also made some improvements to make them versus team balance feel more fair and not repeatedly place the same players on the same teams. So that's like a change targeting high ranks mainly, especially at the top of the ladder, yeah. These changes didn't make it in time for 14.16, but they are here for real this time. Alright. Increased overall parity. Both teams should now have a more similar amount of players autofilled or placed into their secondary roles. God bless, that's great. Reduced how large LP gaps could be between players in a game. I'm not sure if that's great because that in theory could increase queue time, especially on less populated servers, I believe. Like for crowded servers like EU West or Korean one, that's a good change. But for smaller ones, like newer ones like Middle East and Asia, for example, that's probably not too great, and it will lead to a very long queue time, like 20-30 minutes for sure. Decreased the red versus blue side imbalance, especially in Harem Mars. I hope this time they do, because they already said that, but man, like seriously. We've discovered a bug in our lever detection, which resulted in some players not receiving the penalty that they should have received. Despite being identified as lever at the end of the game, this in particular affected players who triggered remakes by leaving very early on in a game. Meaning a lot of those players weren't getting the consequences they should have. The issue is now fixed, and now whenever you see someone labeled lever, they will be correctly penalized. Due to this fix, we expect to issue about 200k more penalties for leaving per week. 200,000. Not bad. Changes to ready check. In order to address queue sniping and stream sniping behavior that both involve abusing ready check to disrupt the game, we implemented new penalties for declining ready check. Players will still be able to decline the occasional game if you're otherwise occupied, but these new penalties will affect those repeatedly declining ready check in a short frame of time. Penalties will start with queue lockouts and escalate to bans if players continue to repeatedly miss ready checks. Actual bans. Wow. Changes will be live in NA in 14.17 and in all right regions in the following patch. Cool. Update to ranked restrictions worldwide. Having observed a decrease in report rates and jump in per game KDA for games with ranked restricted players following changes we made in the Korean server in 14.15, we are rolling out these changes to all right regions. Starting in 14.17, ranked restricted players will be able to return to ranked games only after winning 3 matches in quick play or draft pick. I mean, interesting. Actually interesting. Infernal Cinders adjustment. Back in 14.15, we shipped a change to Infernal Cinders that was missing from the patch notes, so we're just coming back to document that. Each cinder was low enough value that players often ignore the mechanic wholesale, so we're decreasing their spawn rate by increasing the value per cinder, so that players should be more willing to run around to collect them without getting extremely high amount of ability haste for late game. Interesting. Actually interesting. 2 to 3 seconds every 14 seconds. Every 20 seconds. Okay. But now it's one ability hit, so like... I mean, that's not bad. Like, if you collect 10 cinders, which is fairly easy to be done, you can have like 10 ability haste. That's not bad. It's actually not bad. That's like 500 gold-ish lead for nothing, for running around. Aurora, another nerf. Flat damage is nerfed, scaling is not touched, but only by minus 25 damage and minus 75 at level 16. Nothing special, honestly, nothing special that doesn't really kill Aurora or make her weak. That's nice change, I love it, because Aurora feels just too strong. I would probably prefer to see a nerf on her Q, probably instead of R, but R is not bad as well. Ashe base health decreased. Minus 30 HP, not bad, because in high tiers she was fairly popular last patch, even though she wasn't too strong, I would say, but she was a nice, reliable blind pick, which is kinda annoying because you don't really counter Ashe, right? Like, she can play against anything, pretty much. Brand. Passive burn damage per second and explosion damage capped against monsters again and again. Again and again. Holy moly, like every single patch, like almost every single patch, we're getting a brand nerf. That's crazy. Like, seriously, guys, like, stop nerfing him, or just kill the champion. Stop doing this. Explosion now has a cap against monsters of 250. I'm not sure if that's a good, if that's even a good change, to be honest. It's kind of weird, but like, okay, if you want to nerf him, let it be. Caitlyn, attack speed ratio increased, cooldown on traps is decreased. That's not bad. That's actually not bad. I mean, Caitlyn is dogshit champion for now, especially on high ranks. That's for sure, but that's a very nice change to actual attack speed crit regular Caitlyn that I love the most. Not the lethality one that kills everyone with ulti, but like attack speed one is nice. This one is nice. Ezreal base AD decreased. That's good. 2 AD not much, but I love to see Ezreal with nerf because it was kinda annoying last two patches. Graves Q cooldown decreased at higher ranks and damage. Wait, what? At higher ranks and damage increased. Graves is improved at his current tuning and we'd like to fix it. We're playing up to the repeatability of his Q and giving it a bit more juice, even if he isn't snowballing, so that can be a more reliable DPS source. I mean, minus 1 second. It's kinda whatever at this point, I'd say. Maximum damage plus 20. I mean, scaling remains the same as well. It's not like something important, but at the same time I wouldn't say Graves is bad. Graves with Black Cleaver feels fairly nice, and that's why I'm not sure about that. Q damage decreased. Alright, so it's minus 20 when Q is max, but they didn't touch the dagger's damage as it was planned. It doesn't kill Kata, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, I personally don't see any reason nerfing her. She wasn't too strong, I would say. I wouldn't say Kata was any strong at all. But who cares? Who cares? Honestly, that doesn't kill champion entirely. But, I mean, minus 5%. Minus 5% is not nice. But at least they don't touch her on hit damage. At least we can be happy with that. Cannon Q damage decreased. That's good. That's actually good. That's actually good. Only the scaling one. Only the 10% of scaling. I would do opposite, actually. I wouldn't touch the scaling. I would rather nerf his basic damages to like minus 15. So it would be like 60, 110, and so on. That would make more sense to me. Kindred. Q attack speed increased. E damage increased. And cooldown decreased. So basically everything is buffed. I mean, E cooldown is not bad at all. Attack speed is nice as well. Yeah, I mean, she indeed got massive nerf when Kraken got nerfed, but man, you can, in theory, you can start Triforce, I think, no? Triforce doesn't sound too bad for Kindred. LeBlanc. Q damage decreased, W damage decreased. That makes sense. That totally makes sense because LeBlanc was fairly nice blind pick last couple of patches, so yeah, that makes sense. Flat damage is not touched on Q, which is great. AP ratio is reduced by 5%. Is it great? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't really nerf her Q. I would nerf her W. W flat damage is not touched. 5% scale. 5% AP scaling is reduced. I'm not sure if scaling is the main thing. I would actually reduce the flat numbers too. Lilia, damage cap to monsters decreased at higher levels. Same thing as with Brand. Pretty much same thing as with Brand. They don't know. Yeah, and they say similarly to Brand. They don't know what to do with this champion. Same as with Brand. That's why they just try to pull over like any nerf they can bring. Lissandra, Q damage increased. By what? By 20? Yeah, by 20 at level 9. That's not too serious, honestly. Slow and ulti is even nicer at level 6. But at the same time, you don't really want to buff Lissandra too much, because this champion is not even weak. Like, she's not popular, but that's not because she's weak. She's just not too suitable for this meta, I believe. That's why she's not any popular. But the champion as well as, itself is nice. Pike. Base armor decreased. Great. Great. And great. Can't say anything else. Great. Rumble. Passive damage decreased. Hold on. What do we have there? Flat damage remains the same. AP ratio remains the same. Target max health. So target max health reduced. I mean, yeah, he's fairly broken for higher tiers. That's kinda true. You don't even notice Rumble is champion below like master tier, but after master tier it starts to appear quite frequently, and it can be really powerful mid lane and top lane especially, because it's a really nice blind. You can lane against many champions on top lane especially. On mid lane you can also have very decent pressure with your overheating system. Ryze is getting buffed. Yikes. Yikes, man, minus 30 seconds. What the heck? But I mean, level 1. The closer we are to late game, the less they reduce the cooldown. And it makes sense. Let's see the reason. Ryze isn't performing very well. That's obvious because this champion is very difficult. He scales well, but is weak early. True. And while he shouldn't be too good there, he could use more agency. So we're giving him some extra Q damage to help him trade and clear a bit better. And reducing how harsh is his Ultimate's cooldown is to make room for more sick plays and give players more opportunities to learn this atypical spell. The spell is indeed atypical. I actually love a lot his ulti and the way how he can speed up the push potential of his team by teleporting minions. Not many Ryze players are using that, and that's actually a great tool to dive enemies as well. But I rarely see that at all. So they add +5 damage. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. They don't touch his AP ratios. They don't touch his mana ratio. It's whatever. I don't think it will be a game changer at all. For those people who play Ryze, they will be happy because this champion wasn't nerfed or buffed for like years. But at the same time, it's not a game changer by any meaning. Senna, let's see. Minus 20. Yeah, minus 20. Flat number. Wait, flat numbers are nerfed as well. So it's like 100 instead of 120. Huh. I'm not sure. I mean, that's definitely a massive nerf to her AP scales, like minus 20 and minus 20 on ulti especially. That's fucking a lot. That's crazy numbers, but 20 on flat healing is crazy as well. Go buy Black Cleaver, it's really good on her. Yeah, but thinking about the same, like Locket into Black Cleaver would make some sense indeed. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. But I mean, she was just too strong, let's be real. That sucks, but at the same time, that makes sense. W shield decreased and cooldown increased at higher ranks. I actually feel like that's that's another another nerf targeting like elite tiers of solo queue, because there are like 2 challenger Seraphine Mandrakes on EO West. I'm pretty sure that's because of them. And I think on an A there was an AD Seraphine guy called like AD carry, but built in AP obviously. Cupic I think, something like that. Let's see. Minus 20. AP scaling remains the same. The cooldown nerf is brutal though. I mean, this spell is powerful. Her W is indeed powerful. Like, no cap, but 22 seconds. Kinda hurts. But right now the only option is always max W. That's bullshit. That's actually complete bullshit, because as support you always get like 2-3 points in Q, and after that you turn to W if the lane is finished earlier. But I mean, Seraphine is still playable. That's not the end of the world at all. Silas W damage decreased on the AP scaling, but it's 10%. 10%. That's a good nerf. I don't like Silas being too powerful, but I don't like the idea of nerfing his AP scales, whereas his flat damages are that powerful. I think his main strong side is his early game potential, not the scaling. I'm not worried about scales at all, to be honest. TF, Q damage increased. Wait, what? So that's above targeting an APTF. Plus 20 damage, it's nice. Nothing nothing special, nothing that can make Twisted Fate broken or something, but that's nice. That's nice. Varus, alright, that's the first spicy change for the patch, I believe. Yeah, so the total damage is changed to bonus AD now, and from 235 to 370, but it also gives a massive buff if you build Lethality Varus. It's like crazy strong buff, crazy big one. Hail of Arrows. Plus 20% as well. Yeah, that's a massive W for Varus in Lethality build. That's fucking nuts how strong he should be. Abuse, guys. That's like literally as broken as Sana was in 14.16. Like, that's my strong recommendation for you guys. Varmox. Movement speed nerfed by 5%. Price increased by 200. Despite this recent nerf, Varmox is still de facto support tank purchase. Yes, and this nerf kills it. Is it good change? I mean, for players who've been playing support tanks like I did, it's a good nerf. I mean, it's a bad nerf because we can't play it anymore. But in terms of like balance, I would say it's a good nerf. I think Vormox was indeed a broken item, and even after a nerf in 14.16, it felt worse indeed, but nothing special. You just needed to adapt to it by picking scaling HP runes and overgrow runes. So yeah. Celestial Opposition, another nerf to one of my favorite support items, but I mean, it's still playable. I would say it's a nerf more towards champions like Alistar and Rakan, kinda, but at the same time, I'm not too happy about this nerf in general, because this is like the best option for supports now. Like literally, other options for engaged supports are just terrible. They are not any close to Celestial Opposition. Absorb Life. This rune is basically dead, at least it was dead, but let's see what are they doing now. We're just in the formula here with how this scales as U level as follows. 1.5 to 1.2. At level 1.5, 6.11, 3.7. What? Man, this rune is just fucking bullshit. I don't know. Like, this rune is complete bullshit. I'm not sure what's the purpose of picking it. Cut down. Damage threshold. About 50% maximum health, about 60% maximum health. That's a strong buff. That's a good buff. I mean, not sure if it's a good buff, but that's a strong buff, that's for sure. Fleet footwork. 20% for... Yeah, they just want to kill all the sustain, and that kind of makes sense, especially on ranged champions, so yeah. I appreciate the nerf. I really appreciate this nerf. I wonder what do you pick as... I wonder what do you pick as Senna though. Let me see what Senna players are picking now if they're playing this Black Cleaver build. Some are playing Airy, some are playing Grasp of the Undying. Grasp of the Undying kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense for sure. Interesting. Like, actually interesting. Black Cleaver sounds really nice if your team is loaded with 80 damage, so you might be kind of strong if you build it with Senna now, I feel like. What's that? What that? Fixed back and forth right to grant summon overrides at a special price for our most dedicated players. Oh, I see. That's like to be beginner friendly. Alright, alright. I mean, yeah, guys, Warmox seems to be dead. Senna, I'm not sure, but that's definitely a serious nerf to Enchantress Senna. That's not like Senna is as broken as she was in previous patch. But at the same time, that's nice. I feel like the champion shouldn't be that broken as she was. Warmox, as I said, seems dead to me. Varus, tested guys, but I think lethality Varus should be broken. I don't think attack speed 1 is going to be any strong. I don't think tank 1 is going to benefit from it. But lethality Varus, yikes, like, should be actually broken. Pretty sure. Okay guys, that's it. That was WildHeart, patch 14.17. See you next patch. Bye.